My next guest spent 8 years as Second Lady of the United States. Of course, she's married to the presumptive Democratic nominee for president and serves as one of his key advisors. Dr. Jill Biden is also the author of Where the Light Enters, Building a Family, Discovering Myself. And she joins me now. Thank you so much. Your book was a wonderful read, and I'm grateful to have you on the show. I want to talk about some news while we also talk about your book. Last week, former White House Press Secretary Joe Lockhart, he worked, of course, for Bill Clinton, he's a Democrat, supportive of your husband, said, quote, "Whatever you do, don't debate Trump. Wondering if you can settle this for us. Will the vice president debate Donald Trump this fall?"
Oh, yes, he will. I think they've already, I think it's 3 debates that they decided on. So, yeah, he'll be there.
I think it's 2. Okay. Do you think it's unhelpful for other Democrats to suggest that Joe Biden shouldn't debate the president?
Oh, no, I didn't even realize he had written the article. So,
okay.
No, Joe will make up his own mind.
All right. Your book, Where the Light Enters, it is such an expression of love for family, and you're fiercely protective of all of them, including your husband. One of the things President Trump and his campaign have questioned is your husband's cognitive abilities. Listen to this, and let's get your reaction.
Okay.
Biden can't put 2 sentences together. I say he's not competent to be president. To be president, you have to be sharp and tough and so many other things. He doesn't even come out of his basement.
What do you think about that characterization?
You know, Joe is anything but that characterization. You know, we've been campaigning, we've been listening to the scientists and the doctors, and they have told us stay home and be safe. And I think Donald Trump is really about Joe's age, right? I think there's like 2 or 3 years
younger,
difference.
Yeah.
So it's surprising that he would say Joe wouldn't be up to it and made those comments.
There's another attack that they have tried, and this one seems to be having a little bit more of an effect with some persuadable voters, and that is that your husband will be a tool for the left. Bill Stepien, who is the president's campaign manager, said Joe Biden is an empty vessel of the radical left. Your husband has said he would be the most progressive president, and I wonder how you see Joe Biden fitting into the Democratic Party as it is in 2020.
You know, Joe's a moderate, and that doesn't mean that his ideas aren't progressive and bold and forward-thinking. But he's not someone who's left. He's not someone who's right. He's a moderate, and that's who he's always been.
Do you think that he's more moderate in tone than maybe in policy? I mean, some of the policies that he has embraced during this primary and then in his conversations with Bernie Sanders, they are a lot more progressive even than during the Obama years.
You know, I think Joe has a really strong vision of where he wants to take this country, and he has a strategy and a plan, and whether it's on climate change or education or the economy, Joe knows where he's going and what he wants to do.
As Second Lady and as his champion since you've met all those many years ago, you have been his champion. One of the things that has been consistent in this campaign is enthusiasm has been low for Joe Biden's candidacy. Donald Trump's enthusiasm numbers amongst Republicans is quite high. What can you say to Democrats or even persuadable voters that should change their mind and get them more excited to want to vote for Joe Biden?
You know, Dana, that's not what I see. I mean, for the last 2 years, people were coming up to me constantly at the grocery store, on the street, and saying, Jill, your husband has to run. He has to run. We have to change the direction of this country. And I have to tell you, a lot of those people were Republicans, and they were saying, you know, I don't like the way the country is moving. We want change, and we think your husband can be that change. So I don't see that. I see a lot of enthusiasm among Republicans, of course, Democrats, and independents.
All right. So we'll keep an eye on those numbers. Now, the big decision that your husband is making, either this week or next, is choosing a vice president. And in the book, you write about how compatible you and Joe Biden were with the Obamas, and that you had a great friendship. Is that something that your husband is looking for in a vice president? And how do you weigh in or not on decisions like this?
Joe and Barack have a beautiful relationship, as do Michelle and I. And I think Americans admired that about our administration. And so going forth, when Joe chooses a woman, and I know, Dana, you've got to be happy about that, he wants someone who shares his values, just like he and Barack shared the same values. So when Joe and I talk, I mean, we've been married 43 years this year, and we're one another's best friends. And he relies on me to, bounce things off of, and I rely on him. And it's a partnership, and it's, it's just what married couples do, right?
Yeah. Are you close to a decision?
Yep, we're close.
Okay, well.
He's close. He's got to make the final decision.
All right, well, hopefully we can get him on here to tell us more about it. I want to ask you about school. So you have a PhD in education. You've been an advocate for education for children, and you've taught at community college. You taught all those years that you were second lady. Do you think that it's best for kids to be in classrooms this fall with safety precautions? And would you advise against teachers' unions from striking?
I think first and foremost, we have to listen to the doctors, the scientists, the experts, and listen to what they're saying. I mean, every day, Dana, I am getting deluged with emails and phone calls of people saying to me, what do we do? What do we do? Parents and educators. And we have to listen to when it's going to be safe, not for just the teachers who are really dying to get back to the classroom, but for America's children. We must keep them safe, and that has to be our priority. And so that's what I think. Joe has a plan to get our schools back on track and get this pandemic under control, and then make sure that we create equity. So many places in this country don't, in rural areas especially, don't have broadband.
Yeah.
So there's not.
Yes, I know. I mean, I come from Wyoming. I know it's a problem, and it's a concern
Yes.
that administration's been working on to get to that. I want to talk about a moment in 2003 that you write about in your book, when advisors to your husband came to your house and they were trying to convince him to run for president against George W. Bush in his reelection. And you write about being at the pool at the house, and you were listening to this, and you said you were fuming. And tell us what you did to send the message.
I went upstairs and I made sure that they knew that I wasn't supporting the idea.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell, I have it right here, that you got a Sharpie and you drew no on your stomach in big letters, and you marched through the room in your bikini, and needless to say, they got the message indeed. I also wanted to ask about this because you write very movingly about the loss of Bo, your son, and how that grief helps bind you to other women. And I wonder if your thoughts about anything that you might want to achieve if you were to become First Lady, if any of the programs that you have in mind have been changed by your experience.
Well, one of the ways, Dana, that I think that a mother copes with the death, the loss of a child, is to find purpose. And so that's what Joe and I both sought to do. And so our son, Bo, died of brain cancer. There's so many American families who have suffered with cancer or know someone who is suffering from cancer. It's not a Democratic issue. It's not a Republican issue. It's really a human issue. And so I think going forward, no matter what the outcome of the election, Joe and I will continue to fight against cancer as we know it. And that will be, one of the major initiatives that I'll be involved with.
You also write about your faith in the book, and how you hope to be able to get back some of your faith after this. And certainly we pray for that as well for you. Do you think that candidates' children should be off limits in a campaign?
I wrote about my faith because when Bo died, I believed so strongly that he was going to live. And when he died, I did lose my faith. And it was really in South Carolina. We were on the campaign trail last summer. And a woman came up to me. We were in the front pew, and she came up to me and she put her hand on me and she said, Jill, I want to be your prayer partner. Mm-hmm. And I had never heard of a prayer partner. But to this day, Dana, and it's a year later, we still keep in contact. We pray together. She sends me emails and texts all the time. And so she did help me. I mean, after all these years, it's been 5 years since we lost our son. Mm-hmm. And she did help me recover my faith.
Good.
And for that, I'm forever grateful. And I feel like so many people prayed for me and for Joe and for our son, Bo. And I feel that now, you know, I owe that to all those people who are dealing with loss. Look at how many people during this pandemic are dealing with loss.
Yes, and I think that power of prayer speaks, and of course, it's not a partisan issue at all. I want to ask you about this. So it took you 5 times before you said yes to marry Joe Biden. So what was it on the 5th time that was the key to winning your heart?
Well, you know, he did ask me 5 times, but you have to remember, Joe had lost his first wife and daughter in a car accident. And so I loved the boys so much. I knew that this marriage had to be forever. You know, they had already lost one mother. They couldn't lose another mother through divorce. And I had to make absolutely sure that our marriage was going to be till death do us part. And it has been. It's been 43 years.
Yeah. I was thinking if there's any guys out there that are just keep at it, she might say yes eventually if you keep asking. Jill Biden, what makes you most proud of America?
Oh my gosh, there's so much that makes me so proud. I have to say our military families are just amazing in their resilience and the fortitude and the lives that they live in, and you know, moving from one place to another. So I guess our military makes us proud.
Okay, so, and I have to ask you, so during the pandemic, I know that you've been staying close to home, you're saying following the rules. A lot of people wonder, you write in the book about how you became a marathon runner. How are you keeping fit during a pandemic?
You know, Dana, I'm big into exercise, not just for, you know, your body, but for your head. I think it creates balance and calm. And so I'm a runner. I bike. I take
Do you ride Peloton?
Bar.
If you ride Peloton, you have to tell me, what's your go-to class? What's your favorite class?
I love the intervals class because you're riding and you can do some weights as well.
Yeah, I
think that's especially important for women, you know, that they do, you know, weight-bearing exercises.
Yes, well, my mom, she's all about that. She's been telling me about how they've been trying, even in the pandemic, out in Denver. So, Dr. Jill Biden, it's a pleasure. Your book was a wonderful read, and we look forward to having you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana. Thanks for having me.
Take care.